at half-time, but in the second period, the Foxes flexed their muscles with some excellent goals. Another from James Justin. Buonanotte was outstanding on the day. And then to cap things off, a wonder goal from Wout Faes, the most unlikely of finishers, into the side netting to secure that 4-goal cushion and Leicester's passage into the next round of the competition. Well, Premier League action awaits on Wednesday night against Crystal Palace, and then here against Fulham on Saturday. It's a big week for City, and it's a big week which has started with a big win. Full-time score here then on Filbert Way in round 3 of the FA Cup. Leicester City 6, Queen's Park Rangers 2.
Well, there we go. All smiles in the FA Cup third round. Leicester City smashing QPR by 6-2 in the end. Welcome back to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub in the studio with me, Dan Bates, David Nugent and Matt Elliott join me in the studio. We have relieved Jerry Taggart of his duties in the press box.
So cold.
He's come into the studio where it's a little bit warmer. He's been out there a long enough time.
He's cold enough to
allow that. So Jerry's come in with us as well. We're going to assess that victory. Leicester through to the 4th round of the competition. The draw takes place tomorrow after the Arsenal-Manchester United game. So keep your eyes peeled on the app, the website and on LCFC's social media outlets to find out who the Foxes get in the next round of the competition. But we said right at the very start of the day at 1 o'clock, didn't we, Matt, that it was Stoke away in 2021. Could today in QPR at home be the start of another fantastic journey? It's a long way to go, but it's a great start.
Didn't JJ score in that Stoke game as well?
He did indeed.
Oh, another sign. There's 2 signs.
Twice today as well.
Didn't he get injured?
The omens are there, but it's a little bit premature for that, isn't it? But first and foremost, yeah, great result, decent performance overall, and a real boost for the confidence. It served to a T the purpose that Van Nistelrooy hoped it would, pretty much, with his team selection, the way we're assuming that he's put the lads out there onto the pitch with a certain message. Go there and perform. Go and show your Premier League players, show to me, reinforce it to yourself, but go and show the opposition how good you can be. And like I say, prove it to yourself what you're capable of, because you're going to need to take that positivity into these forthcoming games, and they've done that.
Yeah, and especially in that second half, I thought, 3 goals, we said go out there, score some goals, keep a clean sheet in that second half. And they've done that, they were much far the better side in that second half, going forward. Every time we look going forward, we look like we're going to score. So we said at the start, gain some confidence from this game, and they've definitely done that.
Yeah, absolutely. The decisions that Ruud van Nistelrooy took, with the team, the substitutions, the timing of when he made those substitutions as well. Everything went right today, apart from the obvious 2 mistakes from Harry Winks, which, in fairness, he's a player you wouldn't expect to make them. So I think everything has gone as well as it could have done for Ruud van Nistelrooy today, and the players, and certain individuals as well within that who needed a bit of confidence building, and surely they have had that confidence building today after today's result and performance.
Well, exactly what these two have said as well, Jerry, and you've just alluded to it as well. We spoke a lot before the game about the fact that maybe a lot of people could have been surprised by their team lineup today with the strength of it. Clearly, it was about just getting some belief, getting some confidence, getting some goals, and they've done all 3 of those.
Getting a result, getting a positive result. And you've got to, it's a big decision, whichever way you go, whichever way Ruud van Nistelrooy set his team up today, or which players he was bringing in today. It was always a big decision. And whatever way he went, people would be, turning in the air one way or raising an eyebrow the other way. But Leicester are desperate for a result and some confidence. They've lost 5 on the bounce in the league. They need a result more than anything, because this week is massive in the Premier League. And so this was an opportunity to get a positive result and build some momentum, build some confidence going into the 2 games that are coming up in the Premier League here at King Power Stadium. So well done, Ruud van Nistelrooy, for sticking to your guns and doing what you felt was the most important thing, which was to get a result.
It's a good point because it is a brave call, considering the 2 games coming up, Wednesday, Saturday, Palace, Fulham at home, 2 huge Premier League games. Jerry said earlier, potentially season-defining.
Yeah.
So he's then gone as strong as he can today in preparation of those.
Yeah, I like that line of thinking from Ruud van Nistelrooy, though, not just in hindsight. We spoke about it pre-match. As Jerry mentions there's always going to be opinions and viewpoints on you should have done this or you could have done that, whatever. But you've got to be forthright, be positive, back yourself, what you think, and also back your players. And Van Nistelrooy has done that with his selection. And you could say he's being supportive, you could say he's testing them out, whichever way you want to put it. But people have got to stand up and be counted in these situations, and I think the manager has sort of grasped that. He's grasped the nettle, if you like, and then he expects his players to do it in turn as well. And I think, as much as anything, that performance today will reaffirm to the players themselves that, hang on a minute, we're probably a little bit better than maybe even we think we are as a group, or a lot of people think we are, because you could see the difference there in the scoreline. Like Leicester are not going to probably achieve that scoreline this whole season in the Premier League. But QPR lost 1-11, going well in the Championship in relative terms, and Leicester have turned them over pretty comfortably, you have to say, with that scoreline. Pretty convincingly, conceded a couple of goals, their own mistakes, and generally looked a better side by quite a distance. So, and people say there's a shortage of genuine Premier League quality players at Leicester. Well, today, I think they proved that they are Premier League, because there was a big goal between them and QPR, and that can give them a boost of confidence as well going forward.
It keeps the match sharpness as well. The lads, if Ruud makes 9-10 changes today, the lads against Aston Villa would have a 10-day break before they played a game again. So this game in between, keeping that sharpness on the pitch.
Yeah.
Going into Wednesday, knowing that
when you're winning as well, you're bouncing into those games.
When you're winning, the confidence is high. You feel off fitter.
Yeah.
Feels like you can run more. This is only going to help.
But the point I was trying to make there is, top of the Championship, Leeds, Burnley. Are they beating QPR 6-2? Yeah. Probably not.
No.
Probably not. Leicester, they're in the Premier League. Justifiably, maybe just a re-endorsement to themselves and say, hang on, we could be a better outfit than even we give ourselves credit for.
Yeah, that's a good point. A good point. Obviously, you're looking at Wednesday now, and it's going to be a different game. Tactics may well be slightly different. There'll be a lot more pressure on the game on Wednesday night that there was on today. But going into that game, Leicester have to take self-belief that they can get a result on Wednesday night. Vestergaard going out last week, injured. We still got a few key players out injured, but the players that were on show today, which is probably the strongest team that Ruud van Nistelrooy could have picked from.
I think definitely, probably.
Well, yeah. So then they've shown themselves that they're too good in one respect for a team like QPR in the Championship, but they've got an eye. If they're walking off the pitch today, let's say, and thinking, right, we're a good team, as Matt says, we're probably a bit better than what we are, but we haven't shown it. They now have, after that game today, after that result, after that performance, they now have to go out on Wednesday night and show everybody how good they are. There's no point doing it in an FA Cup third round home tie against it. They have to go out now with a bit more confidence than they've shown and produce some goods for everybody, because, it's time to produce.
It is indeed time to produce, because it is a massive
week.
We'll continue to talk about this game with QPR. We'll also talk about that huge week as well coming up. Palace and Fulham back to back here at King Power Stadium. If they can bounce into those games as they've clearly ended this one, then fingers crossed, Matt, the results will come in those.
Yeah, listen, time will tell if come this time next weekend, come up against Fulham, and I don't know, that's to sort of tire a little bit in the latter stages in that fixture, and people would say, oh, you know, again, as Jerry mentioned, there's always views and opinions and angles for people to look at, and they say perhaps you should have made changes in the cup game, etc. But today has served a purpose, like hugely, and brings, without doubt, bags of positivity going into these two vital games, and to deal with them accordingly as and when situations arise. You know, that's where the squad may be brought into it, particularly in the Fulham game, or certainly to a degree at Palace game. But Jerry's right mentioning there, the players have got to go and follow this up, this performance, with a genuine belief about themselves, and in a slightly different way, in a different approach. Again, as Premier League opposition, you're wary of their capabilities, but go and express themselves and go and don't go back within the shell a little bit. Use this result, performance to carry them forward, and we'll see what happens, because Leicester have actually been playing reasonably well of late.
Yeah, the results just haven't maybe
Man
come
City,
with it.
Villa,
Liverpool-ish.
results haven't been good enough, but you get what we're saying there, and that has enhanced it even more today. Take it on further again in the week.
Yeah, so if as you said, we're back to the bread and butter on Wednesday in the Premier League. 2 home games, Palace and Fulham. These, if you want to stay in the Premier League, you need to win your home games, and then pick an away win when you can. But if you're going to stay in the Premier League, the home games are massive. And we've got 2 chances now to get 6 points in the Premier League, and I'm sure if we get 2 decent results, we'll be outside the relegation zones as well.
Yeah, so it just again is about that confidence, and you spoke about it just before we went off air and handed to the commentary team about how important confidence can be, and presumably there's no better way of getting that than scoring 6 at home.
Yeah, but we need to carry that on, into Wednesday. I'm sure if we went a goal down against Palace, we won't see this type of performance. Everyone drops back 5 yards. They don't do passes, what they're supposed to do in the positions. So it's vital that we take this performance and go out from the start, first 10, 20 minutes, give Palace all we've got, try and take the lead, put them under pressure. That's what the fans want to see. But, Premier League, different pressures, like Jerry said before. You just don't know what we're going to get in the Premier League.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big game. It's a big week. Palace are a side who are in decent form at the minute themselves. But there's nothing to fear. And when you analyse the recent games that Leicester have lost, a lot of it has been down to decision making not being spot on, or making the wrong decisions at the wrong times in the games that have led to Leicester conceding goals. And again, that happened today again, but from a player who in the Premier League doesn't make those mistakes. And so for the players who played today and have been making mistakes or haven't been getting it absolutely spot on, it was a good game for them today. I don't need to name names, but it was a good game because none of those players made mistakes that led to the opposition scoring. And on the flip side of that, 1 or 2 of them got on the score sheet. So that is all good news as far as Leicester going into this game. Go in with positivity, nothing to fear, but conscious of your decision making in crucial times, in crucial moments in the game.
Because speaking of mistakes, there's no getting away, Jerry, from the fact that there were 2 mistakes that led to the 2 QPR goals, but they're by someone who hardly makes a mistake, and you can't see him doing that again now between now and the end of the season. Harry Winks.
Again, along with El Khanous and Buonanotte, Harry Winks was one of our most productive players today. And when he's on the pitch for Leicester, he's a positive, a big positive for Leicester City when he's on the pitch. And he showed that today, and there's no surprise that he gets dragged along with El Khanous and Buonanotte on the arm mark, because they're going to be crucial. Those 3 players are going to be crucial on Wednesday night. Whether Buonanotte starts or not, we'll have to wait and see. But today was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. His goal's superb. I love him. I love him for it. El Khanous again looking sharp, giving goals 1-2s, you know, creative, spark. So we'll need that as well. And Harry Winks is the guy in the middle of the pitch. It just keeps that engine running, keeps us moving forward, has a little bit of control, a little bit of composure, knows what he's doing in the middle of the pitch. 3 vital players. So there's nothing to fear from Palace. For me, it's all about the team that makes the least amount of mistakes has the best chance of winning the game, because they're probably too evenly matched. We've seen that earlier on in the season with a 2-2 down at Palace, and it won't be much different. So don't make as many mistakes as the opposition, and you will give yourself the best chance of winning.
There can't be many teams in the bottom half of the Premier League, Matt, that have got an exciting trio with the likes of Buonanotte, El Khanous, and then whoever might be on the left-hand side, whether it's Mavididi or whoever, in behind a striker like Jamie Vardy. There's goals there, there's assists there. We've seen exactly that today. What was it? A goal and an assist for Buonanotte, 2 assists for El Khanous. We know he can find the back of the net.
Yeah.
A goal for Steffi Mavididi.
I think there's a fair comment on a day like today and on other occasions, but not regularly enough.
Both players settling in, though, to an
Yeah, exactly. Because they're in, hopefully, it's that settling in stage. We'll have to see how that progresses and develops. But you could say Mavididi is settling into the Premier League, if you like, because there's an element of that. But without doubt, all 3 of them naturally gifted, talented in their own individual ways as footballers. A lot of creativity, a lot of massive amount of potential there from all 3 of them, really. Particularly the 2 aforementioned, I think. Khanous, he's given us a real glimpse of what he can be capable of against Man City, where he was ridiculously good. Now, I can't see how that would just be a one-off. He's been decent since, without being spectacular. But Buonanotte, slightly intermittent sort of thing with his input, but he's always has an impact, doesn't he? He always has an effect on the game, without doubt, talented. And now with Vardy as well, with Daka coming in, there's less of a reliance on Vardy. Don't get me wrong, he's still the main man. But if he comes off, there's not a feeling of despondency when Daka comes on. Now, whereas before, you're sort of scratching around a little bit, you're plugging holes, weren't you, a little bit? But there's more conviction about the forward play. Samari's settling into a bit of a rhythm, perhaps looking for a little bit more creativity going forward, but he's doing a job. Winks we've just spoken about. But Jerry's right, really. The key is keeping that mental discipline. If Leicester can not concede the first goal in the game, I suppose it's blindingly obvious, but they're giving themselves a great chance, though, don't they? They do. No, but
score,
and score even better. But you know what I mean. Don't concede first and try to try and force and scrape your way back into the game. Get that upper hand. That would be absolutely vital.
No, I think going forward, we create chances, we score goals. No, that's not the problem. I think Jerry's individual. Since Ruud's been in, we have seen a lot of individual mistakes that cost the team goals. And if he cuts them out,
a cumulative effect on everyone's confidence as well.
But actually, it seems
deflating.
Like that's been more of a case since Ruud's come in. And I don't mean there's been more mistakes since Ruud's come in. I mean that maybe they have tightened up in the grand scheme of things. So then when a goal does, get scored against Leicester, it's because of a mistake. It's not because of
we've been opened up.
Defending. A
couple of goals where we've been opened up.
Yeah.
You think, decent goal. But it comes from us giving the ball away and getting punished. Because going forward, I think we're fine. I think we've got players who can cause damages to defences and score goals. We cut out the individual mistakes. We win more games.
But that's I'm trying to say that's maybe a good thing that's happening, because if they do cut that out, and you assume that will be cut out at some point, those individual mistakes will stop.
Well, I thought the Aston Villa game was a prime example. I thought we probably the better team for most of it. It's just, again, that last goal, individual mistake, not clearing your lines, you get punished for it and lose the game. Probably one of our better performances.
Yeah. In terms of going forward, then player of the match wise from a Leicester point of view, Jerry gave it. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Buonanotte, Jerry said.
I think Buonanotte as well. I just think he's involved in everything. I know Bilal played really well as well, but for me, Buonanotte, he's got so much energy, flying about. He works hard for the team. He's good at getting in the pockets, creating chances. His goal today arriving at the perfect time and wasn't stood in the box, he was on the move. No, I think he's just an all-round great player. And, I think Leicester are lucky to have him.
2 for 2 for Buonanotte?
Yeah, difficult to disagree, isn't it? I think...
Go on then.
not just for disagreement's sake. I wouldn't do. I'd say Buonanotte, but I do like Kanous increasingly. His confidence is growing. You can see make some great runs in that first half, especially down. News mentioned it half time, like underlapping runs, but from good positions. Leicester last year did it to a good effect at times, but they did it religiously, even when it wasn't on. But I thought he timed his runs well, like from good distances out from goal, to give himself the space to get ahead of his midfielder, in behind the fullback.
He was running on stuff when he
was
waiting for the ball.
Yeah, rather than having to turn back and re-manipulate the ball. But he was looking really dangerous. And then, in fact, that's where the
header, that was the header.
The goal came from that as well, didn't it? That was just one, obviously the best example. But a lot of variety was played. Buonanotte, it's a joy to watch, isn't he? When the ball was so natural and that. So lots of plus points today from Leicester as well. And I think it's nice for us to recognise that really a little bit. And
it's nice to talk about that, isn't it?
Hopefully the players do as well, because all the negativity that you get, because of losing games, it's understandable, but it brings people down and stuff. They're decent players. They wouldn't be at Leicester City if they couldn't play a little bit. And I think sometimes they get a little bit of a rough ride to a degree. But until we start winning games, you can't really say anything about that. But
they're playing in the best league in the world as well.
Yeah, no, it's tough.
It's tough. Easy, is it?
It's tough. Yeah, exactly. But people think there are limitations in the squad. Maybe there are, but there's also a decent amount of ability as well, and they've shown that today. They need to show that going forward.
Nice little mini debate then, I guess, about the player of the match there, but you've all gone for Buonanotte. What about the best goal of the match? Because at one point it probably was going to be Buonanotte's until maybe the last minute there, Nuge, as Wout fast swayed your decision.
Obviously I think it is the best. Obviously team goal, you're probably saying Buonanotte's, but for individual, for Wout, he's on the front foot, beats the striker to the ball, and I think the fans are urging him to shoot as well. And he takes a couple of touches and just 25, 30 yards out, lets loose, and straight into the top corner. You wouldn't expect it from either Jerry or Matty, would you? When you were playing, but Wout, driving. But not for you. You scored quite a few, didn't you?
He trundled forward.
Did you step in though?
Yeah.
And shoot, or
no,
were you just
no.
Last 10 minutes up for a corner?
Arsenal in the 3-3, that was outside the box, wasn't it? Not quite as far out as Fast. And it
was outside the box, yeah, but no, it wasn't as good as Fast's goal. Just watch me go against Chelsea with Desire and Terry. I twisted and turned them tags. You remember that one Sunday?
It's my Elliot show now, isn't it?
Anyway,
I had my turn.
Turn it on me. But now listen, credit to Wout Fast. Fair play to him as well. Without naming names, he's one of the names that Jerry was referring to, I'm sure. He's been left out the team. He hasn't let it get him down, and you can see the manager, all the other boys, as well as Faz himself, absolutely delighted for him, and fair play, because everyone needs to be in it together. And some finish. He likes to have a little soiree forward, doesn't he, occasionally, and it's actually borne fruit, which it doesn't normally do. But no, well done to him. Goal of the game.
Yes, absolutely. There's a really good video, actually. I'm sure it will go on our social media channels. It was one of the angles. It was showing Ruud van Nistelrooy clapping Wout Fast's goal, and you just see the left-hand side of the screen. You see Vardy come flying in to celebrate as well. So it's a good point that you make, Matt, and that kind of sums it up, Jerry, as well. The togetherness clearly is in this group. Luke Thomas said it in his interview ahead of this game that we're in the relegation zone, but actually the group is really together and everyone believes in each other, and that's probably a really good sign.
And it's vitally important as well, because it's very easy when things aren't going well. You have not so much a toxic dressing room, but one or two eyes point to the floor rather than point to the sky when things start going wrong.
Cracks appear, don't they?
Cracks appear. Chinese whispers going around the dressing room.
Oh, I never had none of them.
Well, but you know, if that is the case, then that is fantastic, and that will go some way to helping them try and fight their way out of this. That is for sure, because there's nothing more important than a tight dressing room where everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet, pulling in the right direction, whatever you want to call it. You have to have a tight dressing room. And even though Leicester are not in the best positions in regards to the league, then the only people that are going to get you out are the people inside that dressing room. And that's why it's vitally important to make sure it is tight as it can be.
Jerry's pockets were tight, that's for sure. Moving on.
Moving on very, very quickly.
You haven't seen how tight they are at the minute.
Yeah, that was when he was playing. Speaking of the group being together then, they've got these massive games, haven't they, coming up. Starting with Crystal Palace on Wednesday, followed very swiftly by that game with Fulham again on Saturday. Both of them here at King Power Stadium, both of them as ever available for you on Matchday Live on Fox's Hub. The Palace game is a 7:30 kickoff Wednesday. Hopefully it's gone a little bit warmer by then, so do join us from 6:30 for that one. That's followed a week today by that game with Fulham. I mean, how good would it be? 6 points from those two games. Fingers crossed that is exactly what happens. But we'll be live from 2 p.m. for that Fulham game there on Saturday. Big thank you to Jerry Taggart today on co-commentary duty for us. Thanks to Matt and to Nuge for their company. FA Cup winner, need we remind everybody, David Nugent, for their company this afternoon on what's been a fantastic day for the Foxes. They're through to the 4th round of the FA Cup thanks to a 6-2 victory over QPR. Goodbye.